my grandfather looked for a very good school for me because he just thought I was smart. And he didn't want me to go into any other high school. So he found a Catholic high school for me, which was doing very well at that time, which was called Paris High School. And it was part of my growth because I was thrown into an environment that I was totally unfamiliar to. My formative years were in the urban areas. And going into the mountains, it was quite challenging for me to be able to take this new world. And my parents at that time, when my father moved with this new transfer, my mother had to stay in another district. So we had to stay with my father. And my father was really encouraging. He told us that if anything that you needed to do, make sure that you don't embarrass me at school. So be good because I don't have time. There was a turning point when I had done extremely well in my national examination, and I was the only girl among boys who had done very well in my school. And going into the next class, what I didn't know, the concept of bullying, that when you are a girl and you've done very well, boys will do something to try to pull you down. And I experienced that and I didn't know what to do about it. But I was lucky because my father had told me that now that you have done so well, remember you're going to have enemies. Remember you're going to have, especially boys, that are going to come to approach you to dilute the smartness. So beware. Be okay with that and be able to be resilient to not be bothered by that. So when it happened, I was ready. And it didn't faze me. Not that it was easy. It was difficult. It was challenging, but it didn't faze me. It didn't cause me to drop my grades, which is why I was able to go to college. The plan was that I was going to major in sciences, biology and chemistry. And then when I got to college, I changed my mind and didn't tell my parents until 6 months later that I was now measuring into something different. But they were happy that I was still doing good. So that chapter was closed. And moving into my undergraduate, because I had a certificate, a teaching certificate, when I moved to not graduate, but undergraduate for my degree. I didn't know what I was going to specialize with, but I made a choice of English language and development studies. English language because at that time, if you were a teacher and you had a degree in English language, every school wanted to have you. So it was a strategic decision. Development studies for me was more of also a strategic move for the world outside of teaching. It was my gate or my key outside of teaching. When I finished my undergrad in English language and development studies, I started my studies at the University of Botswana, specializing in research and evaluation. And after studying for my research and evaluation, I actually left my paper, my research and evaluation research paper, midway to join a fellowship at the University of Pittsburgh in the US, where I thought it would be smart to study further research and evaluation from another perspective. At that time, research and evaluation or monitoring and evaluation was big in the US. So leaving my academic paper to join the practical side of what I'm doing just seemed to be a practical thing to do. And my supervisors, my readers, they didn't have a problem. They actually encouraged me to do it. So I left my paper midway, joined the University of Pittsburgh, and I came back to the University of Botswana to finish my paper. After that, I have just joined Durban University of Technology to pursue my PhD in peace building.